Hey Gardener, Katie here, growing in Kansas Zone 6B. And in my last video, I mentioned that I hadn't been feeling well and I hadn't been in my garden for about 2 weeks. That was about 2 weeks ago. And I haven't been out there in 2 weeks again. I have a potential autoimmune deficiency that I've been dealing with. We're not quite sure, trying to figure it out. In the meantime, while we were testing for that, realized that I have a pretty decent vitamin deficiency, several. So we were starting to treat that. And then 2 weeks ago, the Monday after I posted my last video, I ended up in the emergency room. I was in a lot of pain, and long story short, ended up seeing an OBGYN and discovered that I had a rather large cyst on my right ovary, which is the second time this has happened to me. When I was 11, it happened to me on the left side. So I lost that ovary cyst, all of that. Was told I would struggle to have kids. That ended up not being true. I have 4 beautiful children. But this time, the words that were used to describe everything were all the words you don't want to hear. Of course, I Googled all of the Googling, which I don't always recommend, but I can't help myself. Every word they used to describe what was going on was not what you want to hear. They suspected it was cancerous, and so that was rather scary. Turns out everything's fine. Spoiler alert, no cancer. So the OBGYN recommended surgery, obviously, to have everything removed. Um, but in the meantime, there was a chance of torsion, which twisting, or rupture, which at the time I was wondering if I was carrying around cancer that would rupture into my body. It's been kind of scary. But last Wednesday, today's Tuesday, so 6 days ago, I had surgery, which is my 4th surgery I've had in my life. But I don't know if you've ever had surgery, but it's kind of scary being wheeled down the hallway in a bed into a room that's white and bright, and had me a nice old panic attack when I woke up. But it's over. I've been home, resting, recovering. Of course, pain pills. I have a rash on my belly. Like, I can't lift 5 pounds. I can't drive. Obviously, I can't do garden work. So this is pretty much the first time in 2 weeks, again, I've been out here. But I wanted to give an update. So now I'm in what they call surgical menopause, which friggin' sucks. The lack of estrogen in my body hit me yesterday or today. Well, yesterday and today. Started yesterday, hard today. I've literally cried 36 hours straight. It's being a woman is hard. Plus, there's this kind of weird loss that I can't have kids now. Like I said, I have 4 kids. I'm 45. I'm done having babies, but there's just some kind of weird thing that happens in your brain that I almost feel like less of a woman because I can't. I don't even know if that makes sense. If it does make sense, then it does make sense to you, but if it doesn't, then I can totally understand why you would think that's weird. So I have been down, but I am not out. Um, this experience at this age and this time of my life has really forced me to slow down and focus on what's really important. Our time and our health are not infinite. In fact, they're quite finite and faced with potential cancer and surgery, and it kind of has put things into perspective for me. I've had to acknowledge that I can't do it all. I have to rely on my loved ones. My husband, my mom, my kids have been amazing. Um, I'm not able to do much. Ah, Beans. Beans, the cat. She just showed up. I haven't seen her in a while. I was actually kind of worried about her, so I'm happy to see her. I'm sure she'll make an appearance. Another thing. Hi, Beans. She's probably gonna walk behind me. Another thing that I realized is that the people that I work with really care about me. I don't know why that feels so surprising, but got a lot of phone calls and texts, and there's Beans. Yay! Hi, Beans. That was a lovely surprise. They brought me gifts. They didn't have to do any of that, so that was a neat perspective that I wouldn't have probably ever had this not happened. Anyways, it's just made me slow down and realize there are way more important things than some of the things you obsess over daily when you kind of get in that obsessing rut. And my last video was definitely a crying in my beer, oh, woe is me, my garden's a mess, bleh, type video. But so when I look around, there's still so much undone, still so many weeds. The new beds aren't built. But like I said, it's been a week or a month since I've really been out here focused on anything garden wise, and that's my escape, and I've missed it. But rather than dwelling on all the negatives, kind of like in my last video, I wanted to focus a little bit more on positive, and I'm gonna just take a few minutes and walk around and try to find some positive things going on in the garden. There's got to be some beautiful stuff happening. Um, so, dude, let's go see if we can find anything pretty. Okay, guys, you cannot tell my mom that I'm doing this, because if she knew I was walking around right now, she would not be happy. But I already see some peppers, and I cannot bend down, so I'm just gonna have to zoom in. Those are big yay peppers. Yay. That is a good thing. Ignoring everything else. Ignoring everything else. The cosmos. I was able to weed the cosmo bed here before all the crazy things happened. There's a beautiful cosmo flower. I'm gonna see if I can get closer. Don't tell my mom. Don't tell my mom. Yes, that qualifies as gorgeous and a positive thing. Uh-huh, uh-huh. All right, what else you got, yard? Ignoring that, ignoring that. There's some zinnias. Look how pretty those are. That qualifies as good. I love those dusty colored ones. Yep, yep, I like that. All right. So looks like we had a couple onions bolt, which is new, but I'm ignoring that, and just look at how pretty the flower is. Yep, that's pretty. Here's another one. Qualifies as gorgeous. Yep. Ignoring the garlic bed that's drying up. Yep, ignoring that. Okay, moving on. I'm moving about as fast as I probably will when I'm 90. I wanted to show you this fern. Look at that fern. That thing I thought was dead, and it is clearly not, and it's gorgeous. Thank you, yard. Okay, what else? What else we got? What else? Ooh, hosta flower. Some people like them, some people don't. I do, so that's good. All right, moving on, ignoring everything else. I know that weeds are only plants that you just don't want where they are, and they get a bad rap, but you know, as gardeners, we don't want them there. Ooh, lots of tomatoes. Okay, check that out. Tomatoes. I'm gonna call this a win. If you can tell, those are pole beans on my trellis. I did not plant those. Those just said hello from last year. I don't see any beans yet. There are flowers. Oh, there's a bean. Again, I can't bend. Sorry. See the bean right there? So we're beaning. Ignoring dead. Ignoring dead. Ooh, look at this. This was borage. I was right. That's pretty. Ignoring the whatever's growing up. Tomatoes. I can see tomatoes. Yep. Calling that a win. Several are on the ground, but focus. Positive. I see pretty yarrow. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. Yep, I like that. The even weeds look pretty. The white, they're weeds, but I'll give them credit for being pretty. Okay. What else? What else we got? Ooh. Here is the Sahara Rudbeckia. I noticed in my last video, I totally butchered the spelling. I was a little embarrassed, but it's not Sahara, it's Sahara. Friggin' gorgeous. It has seen a little bit better days, but that is my beautiful white gladiola. What else you got? Some pretty anemones that are, they're going, but they're pretty. Ooh, there's a snapdragon. There's a snapdragon. Big old mosquito on my hand. No, 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 no. Only positive things. Go away. What else we got? Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's more snapdragons. I love snapdragons. Those are pretty. Ignoring the grass. Doesn't exist. And the lavender. Yes, I like what you're doing there. Ignoring the weeds. AKA grass in places I don't want it. Oh, look at this. Nasturtium, gorgeous. Yes, please. Peach melba, I believe. I just love those leaves. Yes, thank you for that. Ignoring everything else. Ooh. Looks like a eggplant flower. Hopefully that turns into an eggplant. I don't see anything worth stopping to, although, okay, this is pretty cool. I've never let lettuce bolt like this before. And I don't know, I think it looks pretty damn cool. What do you think? That's what this is. Somebody who knows anything about lettuce, tell me when I can get seeds, because that's why I left it. Ooh, that's a big old wasp. Moving on. Okay, look over here. This might be the best part. Snapdragons. Look at that one. Oh, I wish I could bend down, but I cannot. Red snapdragons. And that looks gorgeous. Why can I not think of the name right now? Because I've been on Oxy for a week and a half. Yep, that's why. Status. Jesus, thank you. Status. Friggin' amazingly gorgeous. Yep. Okay, something positive about this area. Say something positive. Okay, this is a newly tilled up area where we planted the daffodils. And I have now learned that new tilled up area needs way more attention than other areas newly or already established. So there's a positive from that. I wanted to show you this. My husband came through and cut off most of these garlic scapes that we let go way too much. Basically, this garlic's ruined, but mosquitoes. Thought this was pretty cool. If you've never seen, why does my camera do that? If you've never seen what a garlic flower looks like, that's what it looks like, going to seed, living its best life. It's kind of cool. I'll take it as a, I don't know, maybe not a win, but you know, whatever. All right, one more look at the pretty part, because this is probably the best it's gonna get. Yes, thank you, yard. Okay, so again, obviously not an ideal gardening season, as you can see all the weeds behind me, but it could be worse. Totally way worse. I got a little fresh perspective, which is always nice, however you can get it. So I am down, but I am not out, and I will be back. In the meantime, dude, I'll see you later. Bye. Oh yeah, one more thing as I'm walking by. This is a dahlia. And see this right here? It broke in a storm, and I thought it was gone. But look, it also gained a new perspective and said, huh, here I go. Look, we've got flower buds. Bye, guys.